It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're prepping to avoid all Spider-Man spoilers.
Oh boy. Some of us more than others.
I am honestly severely concerned for the amount of spoilers that are going to come out.
Oh my
this
gosh.
week.
I mean, I know we're just doing the show intro right now, but like I said the other week that I had muted all these permutations of the Spider-Man movie, on Twitter. And I was just on Twitter like seconds ago, and on the right-hand feed of it, like, bam, Tom Holland right there. That's a keyword, Twitter. I muted that. Why is that showing up anywhere? Like, I understand it's like a right-hand panel, and it's like a different, like, I don't know if it's like where you're serving me ads or what the deal is, but I should not be seeing the text. I should not be seeing those letters in any combination anywhere on my feeds. This is insane.
Mike's curiosity is being tempted right now, and it is all your fault, Twitter.
Oh my gosh.
It's awful. It's going to get worse. We'll talk more about it in a minute. The Video Game Awards gave us a ton of trailers, and we're actually going to talk about we got 4 trailers down here, 5, 5 and a teaser. It looks like. It was also a big week for Halo, the franchise.
If it's a big week for Halo, it's a big week for Chris.
Yeah, this is very true. I have a couple weaknesses. Like I always tell people, like, if you could distill yourself down to like 4 pillars of what you are. Halo is one of mine. Marvel is another one. So I'm like, I always try to figure out
oxygen and then water is the other two.
I don't need those. I really don't need those. But like, as a person, I always fall between like Star Wars sometimes, or like, I've always said like, maybe Pokemon. The other two kind of float, but it's always Halo and it's always Marvel. Like, those are the two things we can do. Actually, we'll just get into our pre-show here. My wife was able to snag me the Halo Xbox controller for the Elite Series 2 this week. They put them back on sale. They've been out of stock for months, and she happened to look down at her phone notifications. They had them on sale, so she snagged one. So like, I've literally almost gone full Halo on all of my video games.
She's a wife all-star, because I also saw that she made made special Xbox shaped like iced cookies for your Halo LAN party this week, and I was like, dang, what a wife you got.
Well, let's just jump into it then. So this week for me, Halo Infinite dropped on Wednesday. The campaign. I've been playing the campaign. I've not beat it. I like to. I don't want to. It's not safe. I don't want to like rush through it because I feel like I'll miss stuff. And like this is an open world game. Like, you're on a Halo ring. Mike, you played Halo. You understand. Like, you're on a ring. It's very open. Like, you're not going through tunnels like to get to where you want. So you can actually go around and find things to upgrade your armor, unlock things in multiplayer. Just make your gameplay experience a little better. So I've been kind of going around collecting the things a little bit, some side trails, some not side trails, but it's very open on how you can approach like firefights. I got to the point today from the actual trailer from E3 where it shows you like you crash your Pelican and you have to like go up this big lift, right, to disarm this big anti-air gun. Well, come to find out, I went backwards instead of forward, so I actually did them in backwards order from that trailer. So I ended up coming in from the top and not even going up an elevator because I was already on top of a mountain behind him. So it was very interesting, like the openness to how you can like go and fight these things. You're not just funneled in one direction at all times. So
I'm always obsessed with traversal in Halo games. I'm a big jetpack stan, even though it gets me killed all the time. In the campaign, the grapple hook also exists, correct?
Yes, and you have one at all times. Unlike the multiplayer where you pick it up, you always have a grapple hook.
Okay, because I was going to say, I've been starting to see some grapple hook content show up into my social media feeds, and I guess there's like this Easter egg where like if you grapple like a bunch of times in a row, you can like slip through like these polygons in like a ceiling of a cave, and then there's like a big sandwich or something that like there's like aliens praying to. So I was like, oh man, I love grapple hooks.
Grapple hooks. You love sandwiches. We all know that. And Easter eggs. So yeah, there's tons of Easter eggs here and there and throughout. It's been fun. The traversal is great. You can actually one thing I learned today that I was kind of goofing around with. You get these forward operating bases where someone can drop in a vehicle for you, right? You may know like the Warthogs and the other vehicles. Well, there's one. It's like a Warthog, but without a gunner. You can fit more people in the back of it. Kind of like I would say like the Suburban of Warthogs. And I can go up, request guns, like special guns. So I gave all of my guys these homing rocket launchers, all my Marines. Got in the car to drive and had them get in the back. So while we're driving through the Halo, they're firing homing rocket launchers literally everyone they see throughout this whole thing, and it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I know for a fact you had a good time because, as some listeners may know, Chris and I are 3 hours apart, and he texted me last night after midnight, which I knew was like 3 a.m. his time, and the text was just simply, "I just got home from playing Halo for 12 hours,"
12
and
hours,
I was like, "Yeah, I think you had a good time if he's up that late." So it really sounds like he had a blast.
Oh yeah. Halo LAN parties are fantastic. We had. At one given time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 10 people in one room playing Halo in my brother-in-law's basement. As bad as that sounds, it's actually, we're in the Midwest where tornadoes are coming, so we felt a little safer playing.
Yeah,
in the basement.
you had to be in that basement anyway, right? Yeah. There was tornado warnings all around your state, so you were just being cautious.
Yeah,
I'm glad you didn't lose power, because when I heard about those tornadoes kind of hitting that part of the country, and listeners out there, hopefully you're all safe if anyone was in an affected area, because I saw it really damaged some towns. I think some small towns were like also just kind of removed from the map, which is very sad. But when I was trying to like find like a map, which just kind of show me where some tornadoes touched down, I did see like some red circles kind of near your area for like power outages. So I was like, oh no, his LAN party, that's the one thing they need is power. They could do local LAN without the internet, that's fine, but they need the power to turn the consoles on.
It's the one weakness of a LAN party. You gotta have energy to do it. So yeah, we played it. What's in, again, this Mike, the best thing ever when playing LAN parties is you literally you have like a second language of communication with everybody. You're like, okay, power Cs are spawning left of the base, go get them. And they're like, our left or their left. I'm like, for the third time, the left of our base, please go get them, kind of thing. It was fun. We had a good time. Like I said, it's stuff we used to do 20 years ago when Halo first came out, but now we have actual money to do stuff with. So we were able we had White Castles, Mike. We had pizza. My wife made cookies that were shaped as Xbox controllers and the Xbox logo. It was just a good time. So Halo Infinite is out, campaign is out, multiplayer is out for free for Xbox and PC players. Highly recommend it. It's just a fun time. It's the best thing, again, like I said, Mike, about free games is you're not really out anything to try it, and if you don't like it, no big deal. But it is a little bit of variety in a gaming changing world where Fortnite just had a new map, Call of Duty had a new map, Halo just relaunched after 5 or 6 years, and I think we'll talk about the video game awards later, but we don't have this in there. But PUBG, the original battle royale, is going free to play very soon as well. So.
Is that the where the winner chicken dinner thing came back into play? Didn't that game popularize that phrase again?
Yes, yeah, and it was really a mod of another game. I want to say, I forget what the original game was.
It's like a zombie game, wasn't it? But they took the zombies out.
Kind of like DayZ or something like that. I feel like,
I don't know.
So it was a mod of a game that that literally created and popularized the battle royale genre and is now going free to play. So. I'm all about video games this time of year. It keeps me inside. It keeps me warm, and I just love it. So that was a lot of my week, and the video game awards, which we'll talk about later. But Mike, you're picking up some slack here. This movie that you're about to talk about has been on my radar. Number one, because it's been on my movie poster TV every time I walk by, and plus I'm an arcade aficionado. So tell me a little bit about 8-Bit Christmas.
Yeah, 8-Bit Christmas. I figured it was kind of a moot point to talk about old classic Christmas movies on the podcast, right? Because everybody's seen them, right? We could always do who knows, like a segment where we rank movies, Christmas movies. But 8-Bit
Christmas
Vacation is a brand new Christmas movie on HBO Max that we decided to watch. I actually saw it first advertised to me through social media. So I guess if you manage to cut the cord and remove all commercials from your life, they still find your way in. And that was 8-Bit Christmas. And I didn't really know much about it. I knew it had something to do with like the classic Nintendo Entertainment Center, but I didn't know if this was a historical period piece or if this was like more modern. And it ended up being a mixture of both. It's basically a film about Neil Patrick Harris talking to his daughter, and he just retells the story of the first time that he got the Nintendo Entertainment Center, the NES. And, it was okay. I wouldn't say I was bowled over with the movie, but I would say this is a pretty solid addition. Definitely if you have like a video game in your past. The characters are a couple years older than us, Chris, because I believe this film takes place in like 88 and they're already like 9 or 10 years old, so maybe like slightly younger, or I guess would it be older generation X might connect to it a little bit more. I'm trying to it would be it would be like the tail end of Gen X would be really into this very specific vibe. But like all classic Christmas films, it takes place in Chicago, so it really kind of hits that vibe. It has its positive moments, so I would check out 8-Bit Christmas if you already have HBO Max, because the admission price is not technically free, but it definitely feels free, right? So add that to your watch list, Chris. I think you'll have you'll have an okay time watching it.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen a couple. It's got Dolph Lundgren in it. Is that correct?
Is he in this movie, Dolph Lundgren?
Was he on the poster?
I don't know where he would be in the movie if he was.
I'm going to take a look at this.
The Nintendo Entertainment System is briefly personified and talks.
Maybe not.
Maybe Dolph Lundgren was the voice of the NES.
Maybe I mistook someone on the poster then for that, as somebody else then. But anyway, yes, if you have HBO Max, you can watch The Matrix this month as well. So might as well just double dip, right? Get all the movies you can while you have
exactly.
the HBO Max subscription.
Also, me and my wife have a running list of all the Christmas movies that we watch during the season, and HBO Max actually has a lot of them that are streaming. So if you're kind of looking for more like A-tier Christmas movie content, outside of Disney Plus, that has like the Santa Claus movies and all of those, check out HBO Max. I think they have Elf as well, which I know is a Christmas classic. But we also watched a brand new kind of rom-com Christmas movie over on Netflix called Single All the Way that we just finished watching like maybe a couple hours ago before we hopped on the podcast. And it was pretty good. There's a lot, I have to stress this, there's a lot of really bad Christmas movies on Netflix, and they all have like this same visual theme to them, where it almost feels like they're renting the exact same production crew and they're grabbing the exact same camera and lighting department. They just all look very, very similar, and they're also very badly written. But this was the first one he came across that has that same visual look, which got us a little worried when we started watching it. But the writing was actually pretty good. It was pretty funny. So Single All the Way, I would say it's family friendly, so you could watch that with your family as well. So two brand new recommendations for Christmas movies if you're looking for something to watch, because honestly, Chris, we're all just kind of killing time, right, until Thursday for you, and then Sunday a week from now for me to go watch Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes. Before we get into Spider-Man, I looked up. I was driving me nuts. There's a Dolph Lundgren movie called Pups Alone. That is so I put up all the Christmas movie posters, right? And this one is actually cycles right next to 8-Bit Christmas.
Pups Alone.
And he's on the cover, and I was getting the covers confused of those two. So yes,
the downsides of a rotating electronic movie poster in your basement, Chris.
Yeah, one of those things is subconsciously bleeding in my mind. But anyway, you're right, because I'm literally just I'm trying to find things to do to just not be on the internet until Spider-Man comes out, because I'm just terrified of spoilers. Like, I want to go in as blank as I can, right? We watched the last trailer. I'm starting to see bits of TV spots. I think even they officially put the opening scene online already for this. Sony did.
Of course, Sony.
Yeah, I'm like, just I don't want to click on it. Don't want to watch it. So
Chris, I've already said, I'm trying to use the mechanics that I have within Twitter to help me out. It's even harder on Instagram, because Instagram has pegged me as a superhero person, right? So in my Explore feed, I get tons of superhero stuff. So over the last week, I've been purposely tapping on all superhero, especially especially like Spider-Man content, and go and you do the long press, and then you can hit not interested, not interested, not interested. So the algorithm thinks I'm like shedding like superhero stuff from my life, but what they don't know is I just don't want spoilers. It's being very, very difficult. So cross fingers. I mean, we'll talk about Hawkeye at the end of the episode, but that was spoiled for me too, because that Wednesday release that screws me every time, because I forget it comes out, and then before I know it, it's Friday and I haven't watched Hawkeye yet, and then the reveal has been spoiled for me already. So it's been a rough week. So I'm crossing my fingers, Chris.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to just try to again put my nose in video games, anything else to get me off my phone, keep me off my computer this week, because I don't want to know. And I know there are a lot of Wednesday special screenings they're doing, like maybe social media people or people who rented out whole theaters, and I'm like, I wish I got my hands on some of those tickets, but I didn't see them around here.
That's a great point to bring up, though, because the initial Spider Monday sale, right, was a couple weeks ago, and you may have not been able to get good tickets, but you bring up a good point where they have added new show times since then. They're trying to cram as many showings as they can, so there might be a chance, if you couldn't get the showing that you wanted, maybe you can sneak back in there. You find a new ticket that just got listed, so don't give up just yet. Yeah,
I just I loaded up AMC because I got my tickets, and was that this week? No, it was a couple weeks ago. I got an NFT for buying my Spider-Man tickets, and now we're not going to go down like the NFT rabbit hole, because God knows we will. But I'm like, this is getting out of goddamn control here on buying tickets. So I'm trying to figure out coming soon. I'm going to see advanced tickets for Spider-Man. We're going to do this live here. Yeah, literally every I think every theater screening in my theater has Spider-Man in it. And let's see if I click on the 3. Do I have any extra seats in this theater, Mike? Yeah. Yes. There are 7 wheelchair accessible seats right next to the screen.
Man, that's always a toss up, right? It's just like they're telling me I can buy these tickets, and when I click on the seat, there's no pop up that tells me like, oh, if you show up and you're not, you don't need this area, we're like gonna take your tickets away. But it's just like, but I can't do it. I can't be that guy that takes these seats. So it's tough.
and they're also at the front of the screen, so I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. I think couple things to take out of this. Again, tickets are available, they're purchased. You can watch this movie this week, and what I love seeing here in the screening page, Mike, out of 50 screenings available on Thursday, right, that it looks like here, only 2 of them are 3D. So thank God 3D is dying, because I'm tired of it.
That's a great point. I actually was at a little Christmas get-together the other week, and I brought that up, where when I was looking for tickets, like, it used to be the totally other way around. I'd have to hunt and find a normal 2D screening. So I don't know if somebody can say, like, maybe this is pandemic related. Maybe they just can't find the workers to go through and like manually rotoscope it and turn it into 3D. But that doesn't make any sense.
That's like the easiest job to do too, and like remotely.
But also, now that I think about it, it's a very binary situation. That means the 3D exists or it doesn't. Not like, oh, we can only kind of do it. You can only do 2 showings because the live rotoscope artist is right there in front of the projector trying to do it. So yeah, I think it's just overall general taste. I mean, who knows? Maybe I got to imagine that, like, is there a world where Endgame, came out in 2021, and would the 3D also be that way? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if a big enough spectacle is involved. But, Spider-Man got those ticket sales just like Endgame, and there's not as many 3D. So
what I would also say is that the idea, like, you are not getting a new pair of glasses. Like, they there's no disposable 3D glasses, right? Like, they recycle them, right? Don't they like sanitize them and reseal them?
I guess I didn't think about the physical glasses.
So in these times of, like, being safe and secure, I'm sure they are disinfecting them. I'm sure they're up to code. No need to worry about it. It's probably just a waste of them to produce the glasses at this point, because they're passive 3D glasses rather than active. Active ones are the ones that have the batteries in them. I don't know if you've ever worn those before. Like, they're doing all the heavy lifting. So so it just might be that, but I'm happy that I don't have to worry about, oh my God, the first showing's 3D. I'm gonna have to suffer through this, because we don't. But I'm very, very excited. It's really funny. Little note about this before we go. We have a woman in my office who is extremely pregnant. Like, she's due on the 29th of December, and she's like trying to get through Spider-Man before she has this baby so she can go see Spider-Man, or she's gonna have to wait a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, I get it, because like once you have that baby, you're kind of preoccupied for a little while. You can't just slip away for 2 hours to go see Spider-Man.
Yeah, so she's like, yeah, if I she's like, I can't go, the same week I have it either. Like, it's gonna be a couple weeks later. I'm like, I feel real bad for you. So
yeah. Well, I mean, usually, we could say, oh, it's a Disney movie, right? So you could hold on, if you can avoid spoilers long enough, you could watch it on Disney Plus. But this is a Sony jam.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly when this is going to be landing on Netflix, right? So we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and I think the Spider-Man movies will eventually be on Disney Plus at some point as well. But, the luxury the luxury of Spider-Man is that they can hold on to it for as long as they want. And they're still going to make money.
Well, if I remember right from that kind of contract, I think the first run stream is supposed to be on Netflix, and then it goes to Disney after that, possibly. So it might be a while before you see it on Disney.
Yeah,
Plus.
and who knows what that when they renegotiated the contract to make this movie, who knows what that looks like, right? Like they're making like, I'm gonna look at the ending of Venom 2, like, Marvel and Sony are playing together a little bit more than I feel comfortable with sometimes. So, who knows that?
Chris, I'm telling you, we got to start a Patreon just so we can hire an entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
We can just send off and ask these questions and just do this for us.
All funds will go directly to the entertainment lawyer to come back with us. And then also give a shout out to listener of the show, Patrick. Patrick, was at my wedding. He texted me. He's like, to your point last week, his 18-month-old son knows 3 characters in the world: Mickey Mouse, Elmo, and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man transcends age and gender and everything. So it's just absolutely fantastic. So
hell yeah, Spider-Man all the way.
It's gonna be huge. Switching up at the end of Spider-Man, I said this a while back. What if they put a trailer to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness at the end of it? And the rumor is a trailer will debut at the end of No Way Home for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, this is purely a rumor. There's still always a possibility it's Venom related. There's a possibility it's multiverse related. What if the end credit scenes were just like the happy endings for the other Spider-Man that are, I'm still gonna say, rumored to be in this movie, even though they're probably gonna be there. But like, there's no guarantee that they're gonna do this, but there's still an opportunity for them to do so.
I mean, I haven't done the exact statistical analysis, right? But, these movies tend to have 2 post-credit scenes. One of them, is kind of hyping you up for the next adventure. And then usually there's another one that's like, it could be kind of funny. It could be like a little tidbit. It kind of varies either way.
Well, that one's in its own universe, right? Like, one's definitely going to be Spider-Man related, and the other one's usually another adventure related.
Yeah. Well, now that I think about it, I'm thinking of the post-credits scenes for Shang-Chi, and those were both pretty intense. I wouldn't say any of those were relatively like humorous, just for the sake of being funny and having a little tag at the end. So we could get 2 different things, but it makes so much sense, right? I mean, Doctor Strange is literally in this movie. He is the next big MCU movie coming up. Why wouldn't you put a trailer in there? Who knows if it'll actually look like a trailer, right?
Yeah.
Because when we saw at the end of Captain America up to the Avengers, that did feel very trailerish because it was clips assembled together, right?
But it wasn't the trailer,
Yeah, who knows if we'll get that, but yeah, it definitely makes sense. The multiverse is starting to crack here.
Yeah, so maybe one is Spider-Man and one is maybe the credit scene is Doctor Strange, and someone's just assuming it's a trailer. Then
I would love to see, if I had just had to put out some wild accusations, right? If this is all
fingers, by all means.
If this is all multiversal related, we don't know really anything about the Multiverse of Madness movie, right? Except for some casting announcements, right? I mean, wouldn't it kind of make sense to at least see some representation from the TVA? In Doctor Strange, maybe not necessarily any of the actors we saw from Loki, but like maybe like one TVA agent or something like shows up, exposits some dialogue for somebody. But it would be kind of cool to see the TVA escape the kind of the Disney Plus, egg into the MCU, because it seems like that's going to be happening eventually anyway.
Yeah, I would say, if I'm going to be completely honest, something that would like get me hyped up is it's Doctor Strange. It's, the multiverse is cracking, or maybe he thinks he fixed it, but then we get the actual live action Captain Britain, Haley Atwell, return in her Captain America suit. Like, Doc, we need your help, kind of thing. I don't know. It could be not. It could be something else. But like translating a what if character to live action would definitely be probably something for me to see.
And also, if that happens, I'm really curious how much the MCU at large is going to consider Disney Plus required viewing, right? I mean, when we get to see Wanda again in Doctor Strange, like I feel like her TV show, her character development has to pop up in some way. I could see, Kevin Feige going like, okay, if you really want to experience the MCU at 100%, you really should be watching these live action series that we're putting together. But I think even like he himself can't expect everybody to sit down and watch What If, because there's still that mental hurdle of getting adults into watching animation.
What If is I think the hardest one, because it's 8 or 9 episodes, right? And like I think now you could binge them pretty easy, but at the time no. But I think the live action ones, I think they are saying are required, because there's no way we're going to go into Captain America 4 without watching, Falcon Winter Soldier, Doctor Strange without WandaVision. I don't know where Loki's going to go. Or I guess Quantumania without learning about He Who Remains, and Kang. And then, I don't know where Hawkeye's going to end, but damn, I'm excited for that too. So, yeah, I think it'll be required. I mean, I don't know. I hope, my hope is that it's not another Wanda post-credit scene, that it's actually a Doctor Strange post-credit scene. And the other day I was driving thinking, did they ever answer why that little figure / shadow or glare was in the WandaVision in credit scene after they changed it? That kind of faded into the background.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to feel like it's just some sort of like weird like special effects just like glitch, and then they fixed it. But yeah, it would be really funny if that was actually a plot point.
They had someone on Fiverr go back and fix it real fast, and he forgot to do that. But I don't know. Doctor Strange, very high, very. I mean, I'm sad we got 5 months of drought, but I guarantee you probably we'll have 1, maybe 2 Disney Plus shows by that point under our belt. So hopefully we can get some more going. So I'm gonna show you a poster
Chris,
here.
This is wild. I've already looked at this like 4 times, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So
the original post is someone found this poster at one of those like poster collections. You know at Walmart where they have all the movie posters like in like the flippy kind of rack. This is in a movie poster at a big national store. The problem is Taika Waititi himself has said that this is not real, but it feels real. I don't. So to explain it visually here, if you're listening to it, this is a poster design for Thor: Love and Thunder, and you got kind of like very kind of like similar tropes that you've seen in a lot of MCU posters. It's basically just a collage of a lot of the characters. You got some like lightning effects going on here. So it has the feeling of just like, oh, okay, if somebody was going to make a fake poster, I could see them going these lengths, right? But there's a lot of very specific things on this poster that I just feel like are too weird for somebody like just to make up. And I think the goats, the rams at the bottom of the poster is kind of the thing that actually leans me to think that this is real, right? Because if I was making a fake poster, I wouldn't think like, okay, I'm going to make their like boat Viking like spaceship thing, right, be pulled by these 2 goats, but also like one of the goats has like this personality where it's like tongue is like sticking out. Like that's all so specific. So if this is fake, I'm going to give a lot of props to the artist, but also the general vibe of the poster does feel like a Walmart poster, right? This doesn't feel like premium like HD box art. This is just kind of, this almost seems like something that would be printed around like a movie theater plastic cup, right? Yeah. So what this to me is an amalgamation of literally concept art that someone has made for Thor: Love and Thunder, and they said, hey, Thor: Love and Thunder was already supposed to be out, or it was supposed to come out in February, but one of the two. We need, we've got to send this to merchandise printers well ahead of time. Like they don't do this the last minute. So this is concept. To me, this is concept art that they merged together to say, hey, these are the 4 characters. We got Thor, Jane Foster as Thor, Korg and Valkyrie. Put them together, showing them in a fun manner. And what we get here is we get to see, Thor in a new suit. Some Jane Foster with Mjolnir. Korg, it looks like he's got a hunting rifle, and then Valkyrie's kind of Valkyrie here. But like you said, what drew my attention were the two goats. Now this is actually from Thor, the comic book. One of them is called Toothgnasher, and the other one is called Toothgrinder. In Norse mythology, they are like the goats that pull his chariot. Literally in Norse mythology and in the comic books, they are his like war goats, if you will. And I could 100% see Taika Waititi having like one goat, like Toothgnasher or Toothgrinder, literally being a doofus looking goat that has personality. The other one's like very like noble and like looks like he has like fire on his hooves even. Like this is very much, I feel, pure concept art put together. So I believe it is real. I just don't believe it's a finalized art form.
Yeah, I mean, and Taika Waititi could be telling us the truth, and and still both things being correct. Like he can look at this and go like, "Oh, this is not the poster," because it's not, right? I mean, it's not the movie poster. It's just a poster that the merchandise department, fucked up on, and it got out there too quickly. But if we are to assume this is real, I think the one interesting thing to take out of this is that Jane Foster is in the Thor armor, and she's on the poster, so it makes me think that this happens pretty early enough on in the movie. This isn't like a third act, like, oh, everyone's like beaten up, we're all laying on the ground, we need somebody like save us, and like Jane picks up the hammer and then saves everybody. It seems like this is going to be like a plot point that goes throughout the movie, but who knows, depending on the type of merchandise. Maybe this is merchandise intended for people to buy after the movie's already been out, so everybody knows she becomes like Thor and everything. So it's interesting to see that maybe that lead is not being buried.
Yeah, and they didn't really bury it when they announced it either. To me, I think it's going to be one of those things like there's going to be another Thor and like people aren't going to know who it is. Like that's going to be the mystery. And like, as comic book fans, we knew who the Winter Soldier was, but that doesn't mean the reveal in the theater for everyone else wasn't that much more amazing. So what if, like, oh, this is Thor, and they're going to come to find out, oh, this Thor's actually Jane Foster, what the hell kind of thing. So it could be a real fun reveal for everybody else, and we just know again too much.
It also looks like Stormbreaker is still pretty heavily prominent on this poster. Jane has a hammer. I don't know if this is the hammer that Thor picked up when he time traveled or not. So Stormbreaker's still hanging out, which is cool.
So at the end of Endgame, Captain America had Mjolnir and took it back to the point in time he took it from.
Oh, okay. So maybe, is this a new hammer, maybe crafted just for Jane? I wonder if we're going to be seeing the what's his face? I already forgot the actor's name from Game of Thrones, who was working on that industrial star, crafting.
Oh my gosh, what is his name? It's Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. That's right.
So from my understanding. And this is so that is Mjolnir itself, and it looks like in this it's been reconstituted.
You bring up a good point.
Looking at her, like notice how there's like it's either lightning or cracks around the hammer, one of the two.
Theory. I mean, okay, so I'm trying to remember when the hammer was broken.
It's shattered.
Because my brain is confused because I'm thinking of the very first Thor Ragnarok trailers when it happens in an alleyway in the city, but then they changed it to happen like just in an open field on a cliff. So I could almost see Jane Foster traveling to that site and like picking up the pieces, and then maybe hey, she has a lot of experience with this hammer, and then maybe it kind of comes back together, or she puts it back together, and that's how she transforms. There you go. That's my theory.
Yeah, there's to me it looked it's reconstituted Mjolnir. And you can even see below her chin, it's got the actual engravings from Mjolnir on it. So, yeah, I think he's going to keep Stormbreaker, which is obviously badass looking axe, and she's going to get Mjolnir to give her power, and that'll create the dual Thor situation. But, the other thing we haven't really talked about, and you can kind of see below her chin, is this a multiverse situation? Because we didn't really consider the multiverse affecting cosmic beings, just Earth people.
Are you saying her side profile shot?
Yeah. Like right to the right of the R in Thor, it looks like
the cracks there.
It looks like either that's the hammer itself, or is it a multiverse hammer kind of thing?
Oh, maybe I don't know, because if this comes out after the Multiverse of Madness, so who knows? We have yet to been giving any information of like the next Avengers movie, right? We don't know when the gang's gonna culminate again to tackle a big threat, so is that gonna happen? I don't know.
I don't know. But either way, there's an opportunity here for this to be either, like I said, reconstituted Hammer that we see, or possibly even multiversal, and we haven't even considered that thought. So that's a conversation for another day, but take a look at the in our notes to see that poster, and let us know what you think. And if you're going to go out and get your own goats. My family has like 60 goddamn goats. And I'm going to recommend Toothgnasher and Toothgrinder as the next names for two of them. This week, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was released on physical media. So for those who collect physical medias, I collect the steelbook still. I got mine in. Pretty cool. So they got some cut scenes, lead scenes, stuff like that going out there. But the other big news for Shang-Chi was literally when the physical media was released, they confirmed Daniel Destin Cretton is returning for the sequel, Shang-Chi, and whatever the subtitle will be for the sequel of this movie, which I don't think is really a surprise to us. I think that felt pretty good that he was going to get another movie, right? Like,
yeah, Marvel movies always kind of hit at least like this baseline quality, right? Mm-hmm. So you can always assume that you're at least going to get a sequel. I mean, we know The Eternals has a lot of drama around it, but I think we'll be seeing more of them for sure, because this movie is like a huge franchise, right? They're not just going to like put their toe in, they go all in. Yeah. Luckily it's been working out for them.
Yeah. What was it? The Hulk is the only movie I think that hasn't gotten a sequel so far, right? Is that, if I'm just kind of running through in my mind what we have?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I guess you can't count Black Widow really because it's kind of a prequel.
Yeah, and even if they did a Black Widow too, I wouldn't be surprised, and followed her sister like Yelena. So I think the Hulk is about the only one. But yeah, so really, really no surprise here. I think everyone who's watched this movie has loved it. Like, I have not run into someone who really didn't like Shang-Chi, so that's great news. Along with the announcement that the director is returning for a sequel, he's also been announced to oversee an unnamed MCU series on Disney+. And most popular theory is that it's a Ten Ring series that we announced was rumored kind of like several months ago.
These series have really piqued my interest, and I would say this would be comparable to the Black Panther series that could be working on, because these are the filmmakers that are also working on the larger, higher budget MCU properties, and then kind of like adapting their ideas for the quote unquote small screen. We might get a little bit of preview of what that could look like when we watch Peacemaker. I know totally different networks, totally different universes, but yeah, what's it like when the person works on the bigger thing and then works on the quote unquote smaller thing? Is the quality going to be different? Is it going to be better? Is it going to have a different vibe? I don't know, but I'm interested to see how that works, right? Because they'll be thinking about this the whole time, right? Like, oh, when I'm writing, or editing the movie, how is this going to affect the series that I'm, working on next, or who do I hire, to help me write it? So this will be interesting. But it sounds like maybe some of this would be considered like year 3 or like phase 3 for like Disney Plus Marvel. I don't know exactly how we're categorizing that yet, but it seems like all the Marvel stuff we have planned for Disney Plus showing up here soon. Nothing has really been tied to the MCU with the creatives involved just yet.
Yeah, and what makes me lean into the rings is like if he's writing Shang-Chi, or even directing and has a say in the series, which the end of Shang-Chi, spoiler, does set up a continuation of the Ten Rings. It would make sense that he kind of runs these threads together because he's working with all the characters, right? So, I
mean, does it make sense? I mean, just spitballing here, maybe the Ten Rings would like clash a little bit with maybe some of the plot in Armor Wars, right? You kind of got this technology that I'm sure the Ten Rings would be interested in, but I'm curious to see what direction they go, right? It doesn't seem like they're going to be necessarily a force for total good, right? Yeah. It seems like there'd be more for like a force of like anarchy.
Well,
maybe try to make things better, but maybe not in the best possible means.
I'm thinking more like a mercenary kind of school. Like, I don't think his sister is evil or mean, but like, she's definitely for hire. I think money talks to her, right? Like, she ran that underground fighting ring for years. So like, maybe she's a mercenary kind of thing. Like, they may be on the bad side sometimes, they may be on the good sides, but they're very neutral about what they do, because it's like whoever the highest bidder is will get our best fighters out there.
I wonder if there'll be any sort of guess I don't want to say magic, but this other dimension, right, that they slipped into in Shang-Chi. I wonder if that'll pop back up in Legend of the Ten Rings at all, because it seems like it'll definitely be incorporated in the sequel of the movie in some aspect.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't, that's a huge loss. Like, that's a big miss, right? Like, they literally defeated the devil that was keeping that realm under watch into like a small island. So yeah, of course, go back to maybe we get to see that realm thrive a little bit, and become good. But I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I think this is the first time in a while I just don't know which direction this is going to go. Like I'm like I can't even hypothesize because I know so little about Shang-Chi and how they've changed it. So.
Well, also, we used to have Avengers movies as an anchor point. I'm not like being a crotchety old man or anything like that. Not saying this is good or bad, but we used to kind of know like, oh, things are culminating to the next Avengers movie. Okay, so how do we mentally kind of bring these characters together? How will they interact? What threats are they trying to solve? We saw Thanos at the very end of the first Avengers movie, so we knew eventually he was going to be involved. But so right now we just don't know. It's kind of chaotic, but I guess that kind of puts us in the same kind of mentality as the characters in the MCU as large either. Like they don't know what's happening. Multiverse is about to split open. Jonathan Majors is going to be showing up in everybody's movie, like messing everybody up.
Well, I mean, he's only in one movie, but I think that's a great point that brings up to mind. Like, is Kang and a multiverse or this the Kang He Who Remains trying to take over and make his way the way of his timeline, the timeline? Like, is that the next thing? Because they could do it, but like, there was no inclination in Shang-Chi that he was going to be fighting something like that. His seems more extraterrestrial, right? Like his next kind of thing. Because they're like, the rings come from another planet. They're a beacon somewhere out there. So I don't know.
Harry Styles? Maybe they'll run into some Eternals?
Yeah, it could be. I think they're leading towards a multiversal thing and a cosmic thing. Like they're setting seeds for multiple things right now. And cosmic.
Actually, it would be very cool to watch Simu Liu, Shang-Chi fight like a big alien. I think that would just be really cool. I want to see that. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
We did in his movie at the end of it. But yes, another bigger alien.
It was like a drag. I want to see him fight like some jacked green dude or something. Well, I guess that could be the Hulk, but blue dude. I don't know.
Yeah, you want to see him fight a bigger
something
dragon.
Something with antennas at the top of their head, right?
Yeah, I mean, what was it? Fin Fang Foom, the Macklins are definitely probably going to be playing that. But Shang-Chi 2, pretty much confirmed. We have no date, we have no time, we have nothing else. So, but just sharing that around. She-Hulk. This is a rumor. This is a big rumor here. But earlier this week, Kevin Feige came out and said Charlie Cox will be coming back as Matt Murdock. Probably Daredevil as well. I think it's assumed. But we don't know when or where he's going to be doing this.
Interesting announcement also, too. Like, it almost seems like he saw the writing on the wall and was like, oh, this is about to come out, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. In a perfect world, it would be a fun reveal, but now I feel like I need to get in front of it. Yeah,
I have two theories on that. I hate to say it. One is Spider-Man and one is Hawkeye. I don't know which one. Those are the only two things happening for the next 6 months. So I'm like, why would you say this now, kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
But the theory is that when Daredevil makes his debut in She-Hulk later, which makes sense, right? The lawyers, he will wear a classic yellow and red outfit from his original days in the comic books to help differentiate the Netflix and the MCU versions at the beginning of this, iteration of Daredevil.
Yeah, so I guess if this is the rumor, are we to assume that this Charlie Cox is going to be a variant, not necessarily a visitor from another Netflix dimension?
Yes, I assume so. I saw this big Reddit thread about like, oh, everyone's like, yes, the all the TV shows are canon in Marvel, and I'm like, they're really not, and you can beat that dead horse as much as you want, but like,
also, like, these people need to realize there's no government law set in place that these studios need to abide by, right? It's creative, right? Whatever brush you can paint that explains it is anything that you can go with, right? So you can say whatever you want. There can be a book printed that says whatever, and you can always change it. They made all of those Star Wars books, and then Disney stepped in and was like, no, they're not canon anymore. So it's just like, don't just assume everything's set in stone.
Exactly. And there's, if you enjoy them, that's fine. Enjoy them. But like, though, if you look at them, they are a one-way street. The movies have never once referenced the TV shows outside of them of Disney Plus, and Disney Plus has all the old shows listed as legacy, right? So the writing's on the wall for them. Netflix is a different beast because they're a different company, and those live over on Netflix. And I don't think they'll ever come to Disney Plus unless they buy them outright. So to me, that anything coming forward will be a variant from that. That way they don't have to actually play nice with Netflix or give them any extra money. But they can use the same actors because, we are all fans of, most of that casting that was going on over there. So the yellow and red outfit. Have you ever seen his yellow and red outfit before?
Oh,
Mike?
it's sick. It's badass. I mean, I feel like it's not the best practical outfit for vigilante at night, but who cares? It looks awesome on a comic book page.
Well, number one, he's blind, so how's he know what color it is? And two, apparently it was yellow and red to honor his father's boxing robes. Again, how does he know what color it is? He's blind. So
somebody told him. He just talked to somebody that went to a match.
Does this outfit look yellow to you? I can't. It feels yellow to me, but no. But anyway, yellow and black. If it is, that's fine. He'll probably, again, when they move to the MCU, they have a really good costume designer. All the outfits always look good, right? I've never seen a bad costume in the MCU. We've even seen set photos where like, oh my god, Black Panther, that's so ugly, and that's like my favorite one. Like, I ended up being like a really cool suit. So, I'm excited to see what this looks like, and if this is true in She-Hulk, we're expecting to see a lot of colors in that show, including green. I said this to you earlier this week. This is kind of an out of nowhere announcement, I think. Colin Farrell has signed on to reprise his role as the Penguin in a series spin-off on HBO Max.
I mean, that seems pretty. When I heard that, I was like, okay, that seems pretty premium, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know big name actors are doing streaming and TV shows now. That's where all the money is, and there's not really that kind of a fog over taking a TV role. But I mean, reprising your role as like the Penguin, I mean, I feel like that's a big deal. That means that Warner Brothers is going to take this spin-off, whatever it is. I don't know if it's the Gotham show or if it's a different spin-off or a Catwoman spin-off.
It's different. So the Gotham show is still running in tandem in this world of Batman. So they are expanding on Matt Reeves' Batman universe like nobody's other's business. Again, Colin Farrell, a huge name, under a shit ton of prosthetics and makeup.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Matt Reeves is a great filmmaker. I think Robert Pattinson is going to make a great Batman. I'm looking forward to the movie. I don't have anything to point at that I won't like this, right?
I will give you one. Can I give you one? It's probably a prequel.
Oh, the Penguin show. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I don't know what they like. I don't know what else they could give us going forward with the Penguin, other than maybe he, gets penguins. But like, like maybe they're gonna show us like his rise to crime. Maybe it's a young Colin. They use Colin Farrell as a skinny man and show how he becomes obese and penguin-like over time. I don't know.
I feel like I don't want that unless I watch the Batman movie and I'm just enthralled with his performance and I got to see more of it. But what I was going to mention is I can't tell if this is proof positive that Warner Brothers thinks that this movie and franchise is so good it's worth spinning off all of these shows, or if they're just like, we're trying to make money and sell a streaming service. So yeah, we don't know if this movie is going to be any good or not, but start greenlighting the shows because we got to get people excited and subscribed, because Warner Brothers just doesn't have the track record yet with these DC Comics movies. So if it's Marvel, it's different. If Marvel starts greenlighting spin-offs and stuff, they're happy with what they're seeing. I don't know if that's what's happening over at Warner Brothers, but we'll find out sooner rather than later. That the movie is slated for March, I think
March 4th 2022. So actually it'll be our next one of our first big ones for next year, I believe. So I'm very excited to watch that. Hopefully it's an okay prequel, and it's like I give me 6 episodes, man. Like I don't need a 10 episode Penguin, season.
Oh God, yeah, no one's asking for that.
So build this world, do it a little better. But like if they're gonna go all in on Matt Reeves' Batman vision, give us a lot of Batman of this world. Like give us some more movies, give us some more villains, right, or something like that. I don't know. Give it keep us in there a little bit longer. Like if Batman and nobody likes it, like don't do 2 movies and then give up on it and do another reboot. But like I feel Warner Brothers is too many cooks in the kitchen. Maybe is that what we say? So we'll see how this goes. But Colin Farrell, great actor. I am excited to see him as the Penguin. We're going to jump into another series where Colin Farrell has played one of the 3 versions of the main villain within 4 movies. Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore coming out next year. I think we just was it you and me talking about this? How there's no trailer for this yet? The other day, was that you and me?
No, I don't think that was me.
So
but
I was talking to somebody.
We got a teaser of the teaser though.
Yeah, we had a teaser of like here's the recap of all of Harry Potter and then Fantastic Beasts, and then here's a couple other things. So Mads Mikkelsen has taken over the role of Gellert Grindelwald from Johnny Depp, who was being portrayed by Colin Farrell in the first movie. And so they say that a trailer is coming on Monday for this. Now, we are not big Potterheads as people who have
I watched this trailer with my wife though, who was a huge Harry Potter head, and she was very excited. She was like, trailer on Monday, and she just thought the teaser was great. So if you are very much in this universe, it seems like you're having a good time with this clip.
Exactly. And again, Mads Mikkelsen, he's played, he's been in Star Wars, he's been in Marvel, he's a great actor, done all this stuff. So I'm excited to see him take this up. And honestly, I will watch this movie. I wasn't a big fan of the other. We also have Ezra Miller as the villain, or as like the kid again, the villain who's back for his was this the 4th movie or the 3rd movie?
I don't know. This one, Secrets of Dumbledore, is going to be the 3rd Fantastic Beasts.
Okay, so it's a 3rd actor to play the same character across 3 movies. You think they're going to recast every movie now and just kind of make it a trend? Where he looks different for every movie. One
thing that's really funny about this, so this does kind of feel like a moot point because if you're listening to this podcast, it's Monday. This trailer's probably already out, right?
Yep.
But one interesting thing about this teaser of the teaser is we do get a recap of the previous, nostalgia of the Wizarding world, and they do insert clips from all of the movies that the Wizarding world has encompassed. But there's a severe lack of Fantastic Beasts 2 content. In the montage, I didn't see a shot of Nagini or anything like that, and you don't get any of obviously Johnny Depp in it at all. So I thought it was kind of funny that they were purposely not really showing you anything from Fantastic Beasts 2. If they did, it was very quick, but I recognized pretty much everything from the first Fantastic Beasts movie. So that seems to be a choice.
and what we said, the second one's called Fantastic Beasts, and whatever the second one's called. I don't remember the subtitle. That's how
Crimes of Grindelwald. I believe
yes. Where were the goddamn beasts in that movie? Right. We didn't get any Fantastic Beasts in that movie. So I think it's one of those things the title kind of. For me,
they keep shrinking the Fantastic Beasts in the logo. It gets tinier and tinier every subsequent movie that comes out. If you look at the marketing materials, it just looks like the Secrets of Dumbledore all over the logo.
Well, I know it's a big Harry Potter time right now for the Wizarding world. I know there's that TV show, right, where they're doing the house cups or whatever for trivia.
Oh yeah, I saw a commercial for that.
Yeah, so those have been
on Cartoon Network or something, TBS.
I thought it was I thought it was more premium, but I know they're on the 3rd episode. They have this coming out next year. That video game is supposed to be coming out next year, and the HBO recap or the I guess the reunion special, right, of everybody coming together. So they're shaping up to drop some money in this and hopefully just get rid of what's her name who writes it, J.K. Rowling. So
she who should not be named, which I believe is what the fandom
there
calls
we go.
her
Yeah,
now.
she who should not be named. I'm down with that. I was hoping that we would get a look at the upcoming video game at the Video Game Awards, but they did not show up there. But that's fine for that. But Fantastic Beasts trailer, we'll probably talk a little bit about it next week to the best of our knowledge. Probably just more of a yay or nay kind of vibe. So. Let us know what you think when you see that.
We'll each ask our wives what their thoughts, and we'll bring that on the podcast. We'll let everybody know what they thought.
Exactly. We'll do that. Bring your guys' thoughts too. Let us know what you think. So this week was the Video Game Awards. I think is one of the most exciting times. It's essentially like the Oscars, Academy Awards, Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, whatever they're called for video games. And
who I didn't watch it. Who won? Who kind of won best game?
The best game was It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. Oh, is that that's like an indie game?
It's like a little bit of an indie game, and you play as 2 little rag dolls under a spell, and you have to solve puzzles together with another person. It literally takes 2 people to play it. Like, I believe the gimmick was if you bought a copy, you got another copy free, so you could always play with somebody else.
Oh, that's clever. Did Ghost of Tsushima win anything? I didn't. I didn't.
It wasn't nominated at all.
Oh, damn!
I didn't see it at all.
Maybe it was outside of like the.
Let me see.
Maybe it was like outside of the nomination category. Maybe it was like last year when it got.
It came out 2020. It came out 2020. It would not have been eligible this year.
Okay. See, that shows you how up to date I am on any of this stuff.
Yeah, I know this. The expansion came out this year. I believe. Ghost of Tsushima. Let's see. Awards at the Game Awards 2020. It won Best Art Direction. And player's voice. Sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So last year. Player's voice this year was Halo Infinite. So that was a plus. Announcement for that. But yeah, so they always do. Jeff Keighley's the thing. They always have people come in. Then they do some fun skits. They have some music. They unveil a bunch of new trailers, world premieres, stuff like that. It's really fun. So we're going to talk about some video games that really hit, what we talk about. Number 1 is the surprise announcement of a Wonder Woman video game. Did not see this coming at all. I thought they would focus on a Superman game before a Wonder Woman game, but they this is coming out and it's from the game company Monolith. I'm saying all these things to Mike, and I know he doesn't know a goddamn thing I'm saying. So,
luckily in the show. Well, luckily here in the show notes, you had the kindness to write that Middle Earth Shadow of War was from Monolith Studios. And I don't know much about that game, but I do know there is kind of like this second life of kind of Lord of the Rings in media when it came to the video games. There were some really popular games from Lord of the Rings, so it seems like it's a positive boon for the studio. But yeah. This teaser trailer, it's all cinematic, no gameplay. It's just they just rendered a pretty cool looking Wonder Woman with some narration behind it. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I always think it's hilarious, just kind of cosmically, that Warner Brothers is so much better at adapting their characters to video games than Marvel. I mean, it seems like maybe they're off to a better start with the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out, but then also they put out the Avengers game before that, which had some tumultuous journey.
Well, the difference is Marvel doesn't have a video game studio. Warner Brothers does.
But it almost seems like with the amount of power and money and influence that Disney has, like, why don't they have a video game studio yet? I don't understand that. But
they tried, and then now they're going. Like we talked about last week, they're going after DC's like DC Universe Online Studios. Like, hey, let's go work with some prestigious company. And this one's interesting. Wonder Woman's interesting because Monolith made Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War, which is like they have a legacy game. So if you defeat like an orc in combat or whatever, like it remembers who you are and either gets weaker or stronger based on that whole thing. So like I don't know if this will have that, but one of the other funny things is they made one of my favorite shooter games, Fear. Did you ever play Fear?
Is that the one where the person had like tentacles that came out of their arms, or am I thinking of something different?
You might be thinking something different. This was very much. I think you're thinking of The Darkness.
Fear. I think I remember that.
It's like a psychological horror first-person shooter kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
I remember playing this. It came out in 2005 when I just started college, and my roommate played it. Like we would watch him play it because we were all like terrified. We were gonna piss our pants. Kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then they also did the Matrix Online game, which is relevant for the Matrix coming out. So these people have a history of making horror games, and then also literal Lord of the Rings game. So I don't know what this is going to fall under. Like, is this your Wonder Woman and like you're going to be fighting hordes of enemies, or is it going to be more of like, more of a very story focused game that's very more not linear but like smaller?
Well, I guess the only thing that we can really take out of this teaser from the narration was somebody says something along the lines of there's a threat coming to the island. So it seems like this could be Themyscira based adventure, which would be cool. I mean, you could do a lot of cool things with that island. But like I've said before in the past, I love traversal in video games. So I would imagine there's going to be lots of like lasso swinging, and I'm pretty down with that.
And she's got a horse, I believe, right? Like she's a horse rider. So I can see her calling a horse. Immediately my mind goes to Breath of the Wild, but with better graphics. For her.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down with that.
Because she's good at lasso. She's good at bows and arrows, right? Like, she's probably going to have a lot of that, medieval style battle if she's on Themyscira. So, I could easily see this being one island, then you unlock access to the other parts of the island as you kind of go through the game a little bit. So, We don't know a lot. We just know it's announced. Very, very excited to learn more about it. It does say 2023, but as with all video games, don't hold your breath. There could be delays on that. That. The next one is actual gameplay for the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is very, very Flash focused. I don't know if you watched this one or not.
It seemed like they were like, oh, let's pick like maybe a certain chapter of the game and like focus on it, because it seems like maybe that's how you would divide a game up like this, like the different league members, right?
Yeah, like you're gonna go through each one, and then the Captain Boomerang is obviously known for being against the Flash, like they're in the same thing. So what's interesting is I didn't expect this to be as frenetic as the gameplay is. Like I expected it to be more methodical in like how you're handling your squad and your team members, but this game is so fast paced. Like they are like speeding around. Even the shark can like turn into like a little Sonic the Hedgehog ball and speed around a little bit, like to get place. Then he whips out a Gatling gun. Captain Boomerang zipping around in the air. Deadshot's got jetpacks. Harley Quinn's running around. Like there is a lot going on in this in terms of destruction and action. That it kind of reminds you like a Bayonetta a little bit, or like a Devil May Cry in terms of like fighting hordes of enemies.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, I mainly want to play this game for the story, just because it looks really interesting and the visuals look really fun. I noticed with the gameplay, especially since Captain Boomerang is focused a lot in this trailer, Captain Boomerang even has like a gun. King Shark has a gun. Deadshot obviously has a gun. I wouldn't be surprised if Harley Quinn also had a gun. So I'm not saying this is necessarily like a bad thing, but it seems like the gameplay is going to be pretty heavily focused on like aiming and shooting, and then maybe your characters will kind of have like secondary or alt melees. Like you said, King Shark rolls up. I'm sure Harley Quinn has like a big sledgehammer. Boomerang obviously got to have the boomerang. So
I think Boomerang had a couple like swords or like his sharp edged boomerangs for hacking.
Am I getting this confused with the movie? But is Brainiac in the game, or the Thinker? The Thinker is what I'm thinking of.
No, that's Brainiac in this one.
Yeah, as like the villain, but don't they have like the Thinker on like a roof in one of the other previous trailers?
That's the movie. You're thinking of the movie.
Oh, okay. I guess this is the problem when two media things come out too close together.
Yeah, and they both have literally the city shots look the same, like we're on rooftops here. So
yeah, but it just looks fun. They cut a good trailer too. There's lots of energy to it. It's a fun song in the background. Yeah. So looks fun.
The characters have personality, and they all kind of stand out, and like. It's going to be quippy. I think there's going to be a lot of humor here. I've also heard rumors that there's going to be like 4 or 5 DLC characters to add in, like, I don't think Rick Flag, but like other characters from the Suicide Squad are going to be in as playable characters throughout this life of this game, which would be cool. So I don't know. I'm hoping it's cooperative. I didn't really see a lot of, play with 3 of your friends kind of deal on this, but it looks fun. It is sadly only for next gen consoles in 2022. So if you can get your hands on a PS5 or Xbox Series, this will be where you can play it next year. I'm excited for this. I also heard that you actually Batman isn't one of the Suicide Squad, or not Justice League you kill, but like there's Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and somebody else. But it looks really fun, and a lot of action kind of going on here. So I'm excited to check that out.
Speaking of a lot going on, our next trailer.
The next trailer, Star Wars Eclipse was announced, a new Star Wars game set during the High Republic era. Now, Mike,
I don't know what the hell is going on here. I think this trailer dropped around like a lot of the other trailers that we're going to be talking about here, like the Sonic trailer and the Halo trailer. I was like literally on YouTube, and I was like, I should watch some of these things. And then this was like a recommended thing. I was like, what's Star Wars Eclipse? So I clicked onto that, and I was like, oh, I think it's a video game. And I was like, what is happening here? I'm seeing like things from like, I think was it multiple eras, or I don't know exactly what was going on here.
It's just one era. This is the High Republic. Now it does go through a lot of locales.
So this is another confusing thing. There's also this viral video that dropped this week of somebody who wants to work at Star Wars. So he put together his own like video reel of like custom animations from the Star Wars universe that had featured a bunch of different ships from a lot of different stuff.
Gotcha.
I think I'm getting confused with that too as well. But yeah, I don't know what Star Wars Eclipse is. It looks very premium and fancy, like because the cinematics here look pretty top notch. But now that you clarify that it's the High Republic, isn't that the kind of zone that the Star Wars like publishing side is focusing on, right?
So the comic books, anything but movies right now is going through the High Republic. I believe the Acolyte is set during the High Republic whenever they get to that. But yeah, this is hundreds of years before the beginning of the first, I guess, Phantom Menace, if you will.
Speaking of the Acolyte, too, I think they cast the Acolyte this week. I don't remember the announcement.
It was rumored. It wasn't confirmed yet, so I didn't throw it in here. I was going to wait till something comes out from Star Wars, because then they'll probably get fired as soon as they announce it. But yeah, so this you see a lot of places you recommend. I mean, Naboo is in here, right? I recognize Naboo right away.
There seems to be a proto C-3PO.
Yeah, like one of the protocol droid. It has like multiple eyes that kind of spin around his head a little bit. It's beautiful landscapes, absolutely beautiful. And it deals with literally looks like an eclipse. And then I believe the drum people are like early Sith people, like not Force users, but like the Sith, like
yeah. So this is, I mean, the whole thing of the High Republic is just gonna confuse me to no end, because I already cannot get my head wrapped around the Star Wars timeline anymore, because I'm so confused, because they're telling so many stories from so many different parts of the timeline. Now, currently, like especially with the Acolyte that'll be coming out eventually, that seems like it's going to be the first like live action adaptation of this timeline. So I just try to think like, okay, there's going to be like a slightly younger Yoda in this time, right? Like Yoda is still alive, but he's like quote unquote young. Yeah. But he's so old when we meet him for the first time anyway, that a lot of other characters will be like they're not even born yet.
Yeah,
right?
it's a couple hundred years. Like it's like 400 to 500 years before this. So like this is like when the Jedi are like, you know, there's multiple Jedis. Like there's like the yellow lightsaber Jedis, the ones who are like going out and exploring the outer realm still before they kind of just go back and get the temple and Coruscant.
The trailer shows like those creatures, or I guess aliens, that were running this Trade Federation. So I don't know if maybe this is like the very
the Trade Federation
beginning of
the Trade Federation ships are in there too. That from
right around the 144 mark. I'm kind of scrubbing through it now. So is this like the very first Trade Federation ship? I don't know. Like it seems to be like it's either going to be running into kind of Clone Wars aesthetics or brand new aesthetics, right? Yeah. Because the only thing that's going to be slightly familiar with this kind of era would be the Clone Wars chronologically and visually.
Yeah, and what you're going to see here is a Jedi and different planets that aren't the focus of like later on 400 500 years down the road. So this is being made by, because all we get are visuals. This is all cutscenes. It looks like. So you're probably thinking, what kind of game is this? Now this is being made by Quantic Dream. They made games such as Detroit Become Human, Fahrenheit, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls. These are very like story focused games where you like. There's not a lot of. It is an action adventure. There'll probably be more action because it's Star Wars in these, but they are very much like you're like it's very, very visually beautiful, but you're controlling the story a lot better.
Yeah, I actually am kind of familiar with these two games. I've watched some people do Let's Plays of Detroit Become Human. I remember Heavy Rain because it was kind of one of those first like PlayStation 3, I believe, video games that was kind of like, that's the game that was like trying to flex like the hardware of the console, of like the decisions that you can make. So, I mean, this sounds pretty cool. I'm curious what the Eclipse is supposed to be. Like maybe when the Eclipse like hits this solar system, maybe like the Sith start banging those drums, and it seemed like somebody came out of some sort of like black soup or something. Maybe that's part of the ritual. I don't know, but it seems like there's a threat, and like Jedis are gonna have to rise up and do something about it.
So like I said, in the High Republic books, they're expanding to the outer realm, like the unknown territory, and like this is like, I think right around when they stop. Something happens in the High Republic to make them stop expanding outwards. So I think this could be something possibly evil, or like something they can't defeat, with pure like lightsabers alone, that's stopping them from going. And this will maybe that introduction to that force of that villainous power kind of out there. So it's less Sithy, but like, there's still evil out there. It looks good. Star Wars always has, like you said, a beautiful aesthetic. The Quantic Dream is known for their visuals, so I expect a very, very beautiful game when it's all said and done. So looking forward to that. Ben Schwartz, right, is the voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog. And he came out to he actually joked that he had the trailer on a disc, and he's like, I actually don't have it on a disc because no one has disc drives anymore. This is just a prop. It was actually kind of entertaining. But he came out to actually give us our first trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Mike. The sequel to that movie video game that everyone was so upset about the look of Sonic that they had to delay it to make a new Sonic, and they made enough money to get a sequel.
I still haven't seen it, Chris. I'll get around to it eventually.
It is fun. It is not something you have to pay attention to watch, but it is a fun adventure.
I did think it was pretty jarring to see Idris Elba voice Knuckles. It surprisingly worked in the moment at the end of the trailer, but I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Well, I saw that the Sonic fandom, they responded very positively to this trailer. They were in it, and they wanted all of it, and you know what? I was happy for them.
They threw, so the first one tried to focus kind of like on like, what if Sonic came to the real world? Here's the realism of it, right? They have literally thrown realism out the goddamn window for this one. They have leaned heavily into what Sonic is and does. There's a Chaos Emerald, right? We saw that. We see Tails come through and fly a little plane while Sonic's on top of it. He's catching missiles because he's so fast and throwing them back at people. Jim Carrey is going full Eggman, bald cap, big bushy mustache, crazy. And then of course, when they try not to make Knuckles sound sexy, they just make him sound that much sexier.
Yeah, I saw that headline across the internet. Like they can't. He just sounds too awesome.
Yeah. So it looks like Knuckles will be working with Robotnik at the start of this, probably before something comes out that Knuckles changes his mind or whatever and works with Sonic and Tails. There's a big green tornado at some point. I saw a lot less human characters this time around, which they're on a boat with Cyclops. Last time he was in a lake, he got killed off in this franchise for X-Men.
James.
But yeah, James Marsden. There it is. But I'm excited. I don't know if this is a go to the theaters and see for me, but growing up playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, specifically the video game, this just hit a lot of the right nostalgic buttons for me, and very, very. I'm thrilled to see Knuckles make an appearance as well. So, I recommend the first one. The trailer's here. Anything else stand out to you, Mike? As someone who hasn't watched the first one, anything you're like, oh, that looks interesting, good or bad along the way?
I mean, it was a wild trailer. There's a lot going on. I think the point that you made, a lot less humans in this, is very obvious. I want to see a Metal Sonic. I feel like that's kind of one of my more iconic characters from the Sonic franchise. So I don't know if that'll be a post-credit scene or teeing up for a third one, but it seems like they got a franchise going here. Yeah. They definitely got a franchise off the ground.
To me, it was just funny because Tails is so young and naive. Like when they went to it looks like they're in the winter bar and they walk in and the guy puts a knife in the desk and Tails just passes out of the door.
They were cute in their little jackets and goggles. I was like, oh, that's cute.
It is fun. It is very fun. So it looks like we're going along the way. Got along the way with this. I'm looking here. They actually got the voice actress Colleen O'Shaughnessy, who has voiced Tails since 2010, to voice Tails in the movie as well. So this is like one of those. They didn't hire anyone pop or famous, I guess, to do Tails. They actually got literally the voice of Tails to do Tails. So
they had to save money to hire Idris Elba, right?
What doesn't he do? He turns everything good. He made Ghost Rider 2 actually a watchable movie. I don't know how he did it, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Check out the trailer here and let us know. In what will again live on as one of the most cock tease trailers of all time. Halo, the series, gives us I thought we got a teaser last week. I think, okay, we'll get a full trailer this week. Not a thing in this trailer that's going to change my mind. I will
got lots of establishing shots of locations.
They love fucking people's faces right in the middle of the camera. Like, don't they? Like, they how many, like 5 people like right there in the camera. I will say, when it showed the world and these establishing shots, the effects are on like some of the best effects I've ever seen, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Honestly, it seems very dramatic. I love the score that they put behind it. It kind of had like a hopeful kind of like drama to it. I think it fit the tone very, very well. I like that we got to see some additional kind of armored. I think we got 2 shots of some other kind of
ODSTs.
Spartan armor, right? That's what you'd call it.
Yeah, I think these are ODSTs. When they show us these, which are like, they're not Spartans, but they're like heavily militarized people who are out, with the
like shock troopers, right?
Yeah. They're orbital drop shock troopers is essentially what the ODST stands for. And then we get a little bit of the Chief. No voice, no action, no Covenant, no aliens at all in this.
I didn't even think about trying to see aliens. It looked like they got some shots of maybe some things in space being built. So is this maybe supposed to be the origins of the first ring being put together?
No.
I don't know.
So the rings were put together millions of years ago. I don't think so.
Oh yeah, that's right. Of course you would know the lore. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, Chris.
Yeah. So in the Halo universe, this is the 26th century. We've colonized space pretty much. Humans have colonized space. But like we see, like, they've started like kind of like the Gundam, like they started building in like meteorites and stuff like that because they couldn't find worlds that worked. So they live in these like big asteroids and stuff like that. Now I will tell you, at 28 seconds in, it does show us High Charity, which is a jellyfish looking spaceship. This is the Covenant's homeworld. Is actually this big spaceship here, and it was very exciting to see that. But like, other than that, it's just a lot of close-ups and like some space stuff throughout.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if Paramount Plus, which is just such a strange concept, is throwing everything that they can at this, right? Because who out there has had a casual conversation with anybody about Paramount Plus, right? There's an argument that you could say like Peacock is in the zeitgeist just because the mascot is familiar, and they got a lot of shows on there actually. And it also, if you're like a Comcast subscriber, you kind of like have Peacock already. You don't even know it.
And they have a free tier.
Kind of, you're already ingesting content, but nobody's talking about Paramount Plus. Nobody understands what IP they own. It's not even super familiar. People kind of remember, there's some movies I watch that start with a mountain at the beginning, but that's about it. Like, Paramount Plus needs this. They need this so bad. They need it to be the next big hit series. In their perfect world, it's the next Game of Thrones, right? That drives so many subscriptions. Yeah. So I think we can assume that they're not cutting any corners on this, but every executive over there is crossing their fingers that this works.
And they bought it from Starz, I believe, as a distributor too, right? So it's very interesting for that. So Paramount Plus, and HBO Max, outside of Disney Plus, which is a given, are like my 2 favorite streaming services in our household right now, because Paramount Plus has all the Nickelodeon stuff that we used to watch kind of growing up, but like you said, there's nothing new. They're counting on the Frasier reboot and this to kind of
and they've already collected as many Star Trek fans as they can. I feel like they've reached their upper limit on Star Trek subscribers. They can't run a whole streaming service off of them.
Yeah, like that's really about it. But I do like it. And they also announced live channels on Paramount Plus this week. I don't know if you heard that or not. But
I didn't. But Peacock has those, and those are pretty fun.
Yeah, so it's but like as a Halo fan, I was very disappointed in the last live action thing they did, which actually had the guy who played Luke Cage as the main actor. Was it Mike Colton? Is that his name?
Coulter?
Mike Coulter?
Yeah.
And it was fine, but it was just it felt cheap. And when you're literally handling Halo, one of literally the game that made Xbox an actual gaming company, you've got to put some money behind it, or else you're gonna lose everybody, and you also got to make it easy. Pablo Schreiber, who is did you watch American Gods by chance?
No.
Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
Okay, he's in that show. He's actually the Master Chief in that. He I'm trying to think. I don't know his name. Porn Stash in Orange Is the New Black was his name.
Oh yeah. I remember we talked about this maybe a year or so ago.
His brother, Liev Schreiber, played Sabretooth. Which of that movie, he's like the best part of that goddamn movie. But like, you know, he's a big guy in that. I'm excited to see this. I'm very cautiously optimistic, but like, show us some damn action. Show us the guns. Show us the aliens. I want to see the Master Chief be hyper lethal like we are in the video games, not like just some sort of silent stoic person who's just kind of there.
Agree. So, show him with the oddball. Yeah. He needs the flaming oddball.
Capture the flag. Get Jeff Steitzer in here to do the voiceover. Like, he can do the recap for every episode. Mike, wouldn't that be great?
That'd be cool. They gotta work that audio in there somehow. I don't know how organically you work it into a narrative show, but that would be cool.
Well, if they do training, right? So maybe they're showing flashbacks of like young children training to be Spartans, and they could do that as like the thing. Either way, it's fun. It shows the quality of this, but it doesn't show any of the action, or the enemies, or like any plot of the series. So hopefully it's canonical with the stuff and they're not making any adjustments, but I would not be surprised if they make the Halo series a story in and of itself that doesn't line up with the games. So it's perfectly fine with me. Speaking of games that are getting adaptations, The Witcher Season 2 debuts on Friday, December 17th. This Friday, just in case anyone knows. We will not be able to talk about it next Sunday, but probably in 2 weeks I might have this watched. I really enjoyed the first season, Mike. I don't know if you got time to watch it as well, but like
first season was great, and there's only I feel like we're only on our way up here, right? Because a lot of people said the first season was adapted on kind of like random like short stories and just to kind of get the world off the ground. So seems like they'll have something to adapt that's slightly more concrete, which is great because I even had a good time with just the little bits that we got in the first season. Yeah,
and the first season did a lot of time frame back and forth shifting, which I know some people had issues with. Other people caught up with it pretty quickly. So hopefully this is more linear in its storytelling, but I'm very excited to dive back into the world of The Witcher and get this done. But we will not be able to binge it on Friday. Believe me, folks, we've got Spider-Man to avoid. Mike has even farther to avoid. I don't envy him one bit, but it is out this week, and that's your PSA.
Yeah.
And if you want to cancel your Netflix subscription because they canceled Cowboy Bebop after one season, I totally understand.
Man, I was just starting to work my way through this. Like the last time we talked about it, I had watched, I think, like the first 2 episodes, and then I started to catch back up with it, and it's strange. The live action version of it definitely does not live up to like the quality of the original, right? And usually when people say that, you just automatically assume what was made is trash. But like weirdly enough, I'm still entertained watching the live action version, and I think it's because the cast has like such great chemistry, which is not something that you would expect, and it's something that you don't really see in the first couple episodes. It takes a few episodes to get in there to see all of like our 3 main characters start to bicker back and forth and work together. And it's been a lot of fun, and now I'm disappointed that it's canceled because like I know that Netflix never looks this far enough forward with their series, but I wish they either would have committed to finishing it or didn't make it at all, right? Because like now you're just not gonna see where they could have gone, and like Cowboy Bebop has a very definitive ending to it, the original, so they could have roadmapped like the whole thing just across 3 seasons, which is what they love to do anyway, is like cancel stuff after 3 seasons. So they just should have committed to 3 and put them out there. So I don't know.
I could see them do 2 in a movie, because they have a movie for the animated series, right? So now my question is, this is not neither confirmed or this is nowhere in the tabloids. Could another company technically possibly pick this up, you think? Like
that's a great question. This is another reason why we need that entertainment lawyer, right? Because we've seen it go the other way around all the time, right? Netflix saving other properties, but usually that's how it goes in Hollywood. I believe is like the studio technically doesn't outright own the rights. They're usually like licensing it for like long term to put it on their platform, and they also have that little screen grab at the very end of every episode that says, "Oh, Cowboy Bebop is based off the the animated property by so and so." So, Yeah, this could be a decent grab for another streaming service that maybe wants to pull some over, but I don't know. It was pretty divisive out there for the fan base. Like tons of people were happy to see it canceled. Like, oh, it serves them right. Right, of course it was bad, but like a lot of people watched it, so there's definitely eyes on it. But that could just be the Netflix effect in general. So many people have Netflix. When something new drops, you're going to get lots of eyeballs, even if it's good or bad.
What's interesting about this show is once it came out, I didn't hear a single word. I'm actually I literally, good nor bad, I've heard nothing about this. I actually didn't even know it came out. That's how radio silent it went, which was really weird because usually, whenever I do the show notes, I live in a world of discourse. Like literally, if people hate something or like even don't like it a little bit, they are very vocal, like where I get our notes from. So like the fact I heard nothing about this until like it was canceled, it's really weird for me where I live. So yeah, it literally, I probably just lives in the middle ground of everything, like probably for like the normal crowd, and everyone's like, that's fine. But like it is, like I said, there is the animated world, for what was it, 20 years ago, it has already told its story. It doesn't need to, like, if they were going to do this, at least commit to 2 seasons before you like license it forever and don't let anyone else make anything again. So it's weird.
Yeah, it's surprising because it was in the top 10 trending for a while, and then not so much anymore. So, oh well, no love lost, I think, for the big fans of Cowboy Bebop. But some people found enjoyment in the live action. So when this goes down in the annals of history, I don't think I would say that this live action adaptation was a complete failure. And I think that has kind of been the story with anime adaptations for the longest time, that they never get it right and they're always bad. Yeah. There was things to like about this live action adaptation.
And that's the thing, like if people hated it because they didn't like it how they adapted it, I would have heard that for sure. Like easily where I live on the internet, they would have said that. Never didn't hear anything bad about it. So I agree with you. I think if it was canceled, it's probably just because even I'd never watched the animated show all the way through. Like, it's just a very obscure property to pull. Yeah,
and I'm sure it's expensive as well too, right? I think when Netflix puts this many resources and also marketing resources into it, because I know they thought this thing was going to be huge, because usually you can check their social media accounts and see what they're focusing on, because there'll be some things that drop brand new and you don't see a mention of it on the Netflix Twitter account, but like Netflix, they tried to get memes off the ground with like I and the dog. They were trying so hard to like make this a thing because I think they thought it was going to be a thing. So I think that's probably why it got canceled. They're just like, we just can't justify spending this much money on it, and it didn't go viral. We need it to go viral if we're going to spend, X millions of dollars on it. So that would be my guess for the cancellation.
Yeah. I mean, business is business at Netflix, and they make weird decisions. So whatever works for them. All right, so at the end of the episode, we're going to talk about Hawkeye this week. I actually forgot to put it in our show notes because everything else coming up this week is pretty hyped for me. But episode 4 dropped this week for Hawkeye. I think this one breaks down into 3 parts again. They're very easily segmenting these Hawkeye episodes, and there are 3 main sections per episode, and we're going to do each section really, really well. So the fact I forgot about it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just literally this. We have Spider-Man. Okay,
and it's weird that we talk about them as sections too, because normally someone would be screaming like, "Well, yeah, idiot, that's what's called an act." Right. But I feel like acts kind of follow a bit of a storytelling arc, and I feel I almost feel like we were just getting 3 more sections of a broader story. I mean, I said, last episode I had a much better time with it. I'm still having fun with it now, but I still keep getting the feeling that with this show specifically, I almost wish it was a movie, which is kind of strange because, you think Hawkeye, smaller scale, this probably could make a decent TV show. But I keep thinking, I feel like this could be condensed a little bit more because I'm still having fun. But, it just seems like they're I think what I'm trying to get at is we have this ticking clock, right? Hawkeye is trying to get home for Christmas for the holidays, but they keep taking a lot of time to just sit down and have chats. It seems like he should be boots to the ground. I understand he's human and he's getting his ass beat and he kind of needs to recover and ice himself, right? But I feel like they're not doing a good enough job letting us know, why is he not out on the sidewalk right now trying to solve this? He obviously wants to get home to his family. He misses them. Like, I'm not saying like he is not putting effort into figuring it out, but like, why do the storytellers keep sidelining them into like Kate Bishop's aunt's apartment? Like, it's a sweet moment. I really enjoyed the moment of them connecting and him teaching her a little bit, about flicking the coin and talking about the trick. I was like, I enjoy those moments, but it feels like they're throwing the ticking clock right out of the window with it.
Well, I think I lean the other way. I like what you said, Niels. Like, he is literally just a person. Like, one of, like, I wouldn't say age-wise, like, he's an older Avenger with no super soldier serum or, like, anything to heal him. So, like, literally he's got what? Like, wine slushy ice packs wrapped around his body because he can't go to the hospital, he can't go anywhere else. I like that they're making him human, that he's like, I gotta actually rest or else, like, things are gonna suffer. But it is just, it literally, every time you watch it, like, okay, today's episode is another day off that he's not gonna get home in time. Like, he's gonna get down to the wire, and we know that. I think the interesting thing here for me was the intro with her mom. I'm very interested to see if is the future stepdad actually a villain, or is the mom up to something that we don't know.
Yeah, I think we're on to the same thing here. Like, I'm not saying that the stepdad isn't bad, but he kind of seems to almost be the red herring at the moment, because there's a very specific line that the mom says when she walks Hawkeye out the door, and she's like giving him the whole spiel, like, oh, this is my daughter, I want her to be safe. Like, yeah, we get that. That makes total sense. And then she's just like, okay, so we both agree you'll drop the case. Yeah. Well, in reality, if she was like, all good, she would say, oh, will you just leave my daughter out of it? Right. She wants Hawkeye to just knock it off. She wants him to get out of town. Yeah. So it seems like she's into some shit.
Yeah. She's probably at there, and I don't think he is a sort of. I'm thinking maybe he could have been Ronin before Hawkeye. Maybe, like, I think maybe he's the one who killed Maya's dad or whatever, because we never saw the face of Hawkeye whenever he was doing the sword slashing, remember, with the last episode?
Maybe there could be a little bit of a mystery there.
But, like, he's not, I don't think he's, like, the smart villain. Like, I think he's just, like, maybe he's doing her bidding. Maybe, technically, he's under an employee and they're just, like, they've fallen in love, but she's the brains and he's just kind of, like, doing what she says.
Or there's a story along the lines of, I feel like at the very first episode when we see Kate as a kid and she's talking with her dad, there's something going on there. There was some sort of vibe with her dad and mom that seemed to be unexplained. And he may or may not be dead. Right. We don't know. We never saw the body. So did the mom maybe pick up on the dad's criminal enterprises, like to keep them, in their rich, a palatial estate? I don't really know exactly what's going on.
Could we use a fake death and then, like, give him a new identity to? Maybe he is the swordsman. Maybe he went away and learned sword skills, and that's the actual dad. I don't know.
I'm not sure. All I can say positive for this episode, the slime arrows look a little bit better, Chris.
Yeah.
I think maybe the I don't know if they just rendered it on a couple more passes or just the kind of the dark apartment kind of helped hide some of the slime effects. But I was like, all right, this works better here. I'm digging this.
Well, let's talk about step 2. I love the Christmas sweaters. I want the Grumpy Cat Christmas sweater Hawkeye was wearing, by the way. Yeah. But what I love, and what we never get enough of, we never get to see Clint actually showcase how good of how accurate and how much skill he has with hitting whatever he wants with whatever he has on hand. Like, he's always been like a bow and arrow guy, but he's like, look, I can do this with my coin. Like, bam, done, turn the TV off.
And I must stress, I did enjoy this middle part of the episode. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I feel like it does take some of the urgency of the story out of it.
Well, that's why part 2 to me is an act 2, because act 2 usually requires some stakes, and there was no stakes in this part 2. There was literally them. Yeah,
I guess there is a brief moment that maybe encompasses the middle of the episode where he runs off to talk to Echo's kind of like second in command.
Kazi,
and he chucks his gun. I thought that was pretty funny. He's like, oh man, can I have my gun back? And he's like, what do you think? Yeah. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, it was a fun, touching moment.
Yeah, and they gotta watch the Christmas movies. He taught her some skills, like how to bend the coin around the corner. Like, it's great to see him do that, because I've seen him, like, in the comic books, like, he was able to, like, kill people with his fingernails, and, like, because he could, like, throw them at, like, within things. So it was great to see that. Moving on to the third part, which I think is, like, the highlight of the episode. Kate using her, I guess, naivety to break into an apartment while Hawkeye just kind of was like literally Overwatch for this. And then we get to see like they find this watch, this MacGuffin of a watch. We find out Laura can speak, was it Russian or German as well in this episode, his wife. Like, is she a spy?
Oh, yeah.
Is she a previous spy? And that's where they met as spies 10 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know. I do like adding a little bit of interesting shades to the wife, but it seems to be a bit of a crutch for this series of when they need to collect information. They're either getting it from Kate's mom's, like, company or business or an app on Kate's phone that hacks into a network, or like Hawkeye just calls up his wife and gets the information he needs. So it's a bit of a storytelling crutch, but I do like how it at least adds a little bit of flavor to the wife.
Yeah, it gives Linda Cardellini something to do. Now my question is, everyone's like, oh well, maybe this watch is from 10 years ago, right, or whatever, but their oldest daughter is well over 10 years old. So like, what is special about this MacGuffin of a watch that we need to find out that has a tracker in it even? Yeah,
and I believe obviously Hawkeye could be lying. He could be like an untrustworthy kind of a narrator, depending on how you look at it. But he does mention that if this watch is kind of like figure out or cracked or something, that somebody's identity will be revealed, or somebody will be like out in the open, I believe is what he said. So I originally just thought it was like a Tony Stark watch, but everybody knew Tony Stark was Iron Man. So I don't think that's it. Like, I was thinking maybe it's Bruce's watch, possibly, but I mean, is it a secret that he is or isn't the Hulk? And like, I don't think he would be in danger. I mean, he's the Hulk. No one's going to sneak up on Bruce Banner. You can't kill him, So I'm just trying to think, like, who in the compound, like, would it be? And I'm not saying it has to be a male. I mean, anybody can wear that watch, but I'm just trying to think.
I don't think it's anybody else but somebody in this show. I think it's her real identity. What if this is the MCU's version of Mockingbird? Like, maybe it's his wife's real identity. Like... And where they're like, maybe she. I literally think they both met as spies in S.H.I.E.L.D. And like Nick Fury got her out because maybe she got pregnant or something. I don't know. And this watch is tied to that identity and their location in the world.
Now, that could actually be kind of interesting. I do like that idea, right? Because this show is called Hawkeye, so why wouldn't you use it as an opportunity to, like, maybe have an episode where there's a bit of a flashback? They're good at de-aging, right? Yeah. Maybe showing them and meeting each other. That could be kind of fun. And also, it could kind of maybe explain the very unrealistic idea of a spy like Hawkeye having a family to begin with, because, like, he is very talented. He can get away with a lot on missions because he's basically like a superhero, right? So his threat of death is much lower than like an average human, but still, like, if you got like a family and all them kids, like, you should have retired a long time ago. But if the wife is also kind of in it, that makes a little bit more sense of why she would be like, no, we can have a family, we can do this because we can do it together. I like that idea, Chris.
And she knows a lot about what he's doing and how to get information, so that would explain why she's doing this a little bit more. Like, oh, she's the guy in the chair, and why does she know this? Oh, because she was previously a spy as well. Just a thought. But then we can find out she's in Echo's apartment, and then we get the reveal of Sam Fisher himself fighting Hawkeye on a rooftop. I'm kidding. You remember those games, Splinter Cell?
Oh yeah, Splinter Cell. I was like, Sam Fisher? Who are you talking about? But that was Florence Pugh.
Yes. So the big reveal is that Florence Pugh, the Black Widow herself, is fighting Hawkeye on the rooftop. So this ties in from the end credit scene of Black Widow, and she has found Hawkeye and she's fighting it. And the Echoes, Kate's fighting Echo. They get across there, and everybody's fighting everybody on the rooftop. Like, if that song "Kung Fu Fighting" ever came to life, this would have been the time to use it. It was hard to keep tabs on who's doing what, but it seems like the Yelena had an opportunity to kill Kate, but she didn't. And kind of went away. Echo seems defeated and went away as well. So I don't know. I believe we're going to get more Yelena next episode. I think we're going to get some more backstory on her, but I don't know what else to expect in the next episode.
I mean, I think what really needs to happen is Hawkeye needs to get a Disney Plus subscription, because he really needs to watch Black Widow to figure out what's going on here. He can clear things up very quickly. Like, no. I didn't kill your sister. Listen, we were on an alien planet. She sacrificed herself. I just happened to be there. That's how it went down.
I tried to do it, but she stopped me.
Yeah, she's too good of a person. God damn it, your sister. She's too nice. Yeah. but it does seem like she was maybe trying to subdue Hawkeye. I mean, who knows? Maybe she did have plans to kill him, but it seemed like at that point in time, maybe she wanted answers.
Yeah.
Because once things got too complicated on the roof, she was just like, oh, "This is too much. I'm out of here." Echo kind of, I believe, did the same thing, right? She was like, "No, too much is happening. I got to get out of here."
Yeah, because she got once she started getting hit with. Echo got shot in the shoulder, I believe, and then also shocked as well. So she was probably like, "I'm out," kind of thing. But I think we're gonna get more of. I believe. I've been told that the next episode will blow up Twitter. I'm like, you're gonna blow up Twitter the day before Spider-Man? I doubt it, but
yeah. Well, that's got to be a good reminder. I need to watch this on Wednesday because the Florence Pugh reveal was spoiled for me. I mean, we knew she was gonna pop up in it, but it would have been better if I didn't see it coming. Because I did like how they played it out, where like Clint was just like, "No, I'm out here fighting her." Like, well, who am I fighting out here then?
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. So I'm glad. I mean, this show overall is more positive, luckily for me, than how it started out. So things are trending still in the right direction. It still kind of feels like it's got some screws loose, maybe needs a little WD-40 on some parts. But overall, like, I'm surprised I'm having as much fun as I am with just Hawkeye. Kind of seems to be like the Aquaman, of the Avengers. People seem to dog on him for his arrow skills, but I mean, bow and arrows are just cool. Like, just like how I say I love jetpacks and grappling hooks in video games, I'm also always going for like the bow whenever I have a chance, just because it's really fun.
I played Call of Duty with you. I know how big of a fan of the crossbow. But like,
yeah, exactly.
I think it's always like I think the foil of Kate Bishop is always entertaining because she's young and kind of naive still. Like, she's like, "How do you carry your big bow up this year?" She's like, "I have a collapsible bow." Like, duh.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, that makes
yeah."
I love Haley Steinfeld's energy. I can't wait to see her interact with more of the MCU in any way. Like, I want to see her go big and like have a conversation with Doctor Strange. I wouldn't care if maybe she just like talked to another Disney Plus character for like a little while, but her world is about to explode. It almost makes me think it does make a little sense to make the mom evil, right? Because if you want Kate Bishop to really kind of be thrusted into the world, right, of being a hero, she kind of almost needs to sever her ties a little bit with like her past life, if you will. And if the mother is a villain, right, I mean, what else? Like, she doesn't have anything to like, keep her back in her normal life. So
yeah, exactly.
She'll just have to go off and be an Avenger.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, well, it wouldn't hurt for a young Avenger to have like a positive role model in their life, because a lot of them lose that. It would just definitely, like, she's still just kind of like coasting, right? Like, and she needs to like get some harsh reality pretty quickly. And I could see her possibly maybe not moving in with Hawkeye, but like kind of going down that road of like he's got to kind of give her direction.
Well, they got
live your own life.
They have their phone numbers now. Maybe that'll be the ultimate character development for Clint at the end of the episode. He's like, "All right, fine, you can text me casually, not just in emergency."
And then he's gonna turn around and she's gonna text him immediately. You know that, right? They're gonna pull that joke that everybody does, like, immediately. But other than that, I really enjoy Hawkeye. I love that the stakes aren't high. That there's still mystery. We're learning characters. I think Echo, I want her to have this next episode. I want to see who this uncle is. I think she's going to have a great series. If the uncle turns out to be the Kingpin, I would be thrilled, and that would make her show that much more exciting for me. But if it's the swordsman, even better. I'm not this. My theorizing for the show is not ruining it for me, because I'm having a good time either way we cut it. So.
Your task is to remind me, Chris, on Wednesday morning that there's a new episode of Hawkeye, and I gotta go watch it.
I will remind you wholeheartedly, and that
thank you
reminds me. This is housekeeping. We didn't really talk. Next week is our last episode of the year. We will be taking off Christmas, the Sunday after Christmas, to recharge ourselves. We haven't really taken a break in a long time. So we will be here next week to talk news and Spider-Man, but we will be 2 weeks until we can talk about the finale of the show.
And also The Matrix and the premiere of the Book of Boba Fett
and Kingsman.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we'll finally get around to watching the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yes.
So stay tuned, stay subscribed. Big things in 2022 for the podcast, hopefully.
Yes, we're working on it. And another little thing, someone did ask me this week, hey, Chris, why don't you do those cold opens anymore? Well, that is our new editing process. We are making our videos with our little avatars where we talk. Mike, say something so they can see your avatar move.
La 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 la.
There he is. He's moving. I'm moving. We're talking. We're recording our video live while we do the show, so we have less editing to do. And what that means is literally everything is live. From the time we click play to the intro song to the end of this episode is literally completely. We try to edit as little as possible there, so we can't. Those cold opens were always like stuff we took from our pre-recording, and it's just hard to edit those in and then push the video out separately.
This is still very much a podcast first. So whenever we talk about something very visual, like a janky Walmart Thor poster, I will do my best to paint you a visual picture.
Yes.
But if you're ever on a platform where you can watch us visually, Chris does a really good job at inserting visual references to things that we're chatting about, which is really awesome.
And this is the podcast. Anyone who ever wants to do a podcast, you can always ask us anything that we've learned over the past 7 years.
Don't ask me, because I feel like I don't know anything. The technical side of things. Chris is the man in the chair for sure when it comes to putting this together.
But the fun of it is learning new skills, techniques, always making it better. We're not doing the same things we did when we started by any means at all, and I think it's made a better show for that. So that's why we don't have cold intros and cold outros anymore. It's just because the whole process has streamlined into one recording procedure, which makes it easier on our lives because we don't get paid to do this and we can't hire an editor to do this for us. So
maybe one day. After we pay that entertainment lawyer, of course. That's right. Step one.
So it's been a long episode, Mike. Let's wrap it up. Send them home. Let's get ready for Spider-Man. Where can they find you at?
They can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, you're up next.
I am Instagram, Valdan87, or Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN, and also that's my Xbox Live gamer tag. So you can check out my achievements I've been getting on Halo. I've been playing those. Very fun. People will know more about the show, where they can find us, where they can come and listen to our Spider-Man review next week, because we have been waiting for this about, 20 years in the making for this Spider-Man movie, it sounds like. So where can they get that at?
Well, if you want to check out all of those trailers that we talked about in the show, we got links to all of those in our show notes, and that is over at superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to fine podcasts like ours. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. Please reach out and let us know what you are thinking about this Spider-Man trailer coming up. The Spider-Man movie coming up. What are your predictions? How are you avoiding spoilers? Actually, if you timely send us your thoughts, let us know what you thought about the movie. Actually, no, I feel like I'm inviting spoilers. Don't do that, because I'm not going to see it till Sunday.
It's true.
Send it to Chris. He's going to be like the first butt in the seat. Don't send me anything, for the love of God. I can't see it until Sunday, a week now.
Don't send us any goddamn links or spoilers earlier. That's all I'm asking. But you can send me in a review starting at 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah, there you go. So we love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of this fine here show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and go get boosted out there. Get those antibodies to a sufficient level so you can keep listening to the podcast. And we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.